education.
I totally agree. He's playing off the addiction and it's inescapable idea, which they create on purpose. We talked about that with VR. They obsolete the technology and they end up putting stuff in that you're required to use. And he was kind of alluding to that, saying it's inescapable. You have to use social media. So therefore, those were his premises, which I agree with what you're saying.
But people like this have created a world in which you cannot live.
Exactly.
They want to create this world.
Yeah,
they wanted to, and they did create it. And now it's done. That's what this is the difference. They called it the fourth industrial revolution in the World Economic Forum thing. But this is the thing that really scares me when you look back at history and you think about how there have always been tyrants and dictators and totally controlling governments and plots and conspiracies and mind control and injustice, slavery. All that stuff has always been there. But now the technology is. I mean, it feels like it can make true, total totalitarianism possible. Now, you can always just sit on your hands. If we all did that, no matter when, until they put chips in your freaking brain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this isn't really possible, but when you read this stuff, it looks like they're pretty confident they're moving forward in these directions. I mean, chips in your brain is in the World Economic Forum, so everything's in there. Just click around.
Well, they're already doing it in a company in Ohio.
But the way the World Economic Forum talks about what they're doing, they talk about they seek out leaders of business, politics, academia, and all the other forums, and they look to infiltrate education, civil society, governments, businesses, industries. Like they talk about who they use and where and what they target, and it's basically
they name names.
They have like Palantir and Rand, like these are all partners of theirs. Yeah, I mean you can find all that, but I'm saying
described right there is Edward Bernays' engineering of consent model. It's that exactly.
Yeah, well, that was one of the headlines that said Brexit can reverse if the people go for it. Tony Blair says, I could see that's what is going on here, but they have this plan in place of how they're going to control every single aspect of society. And, I want to say, they'll never chip every brain. They're not going to chip my brain. I don't think they expect to chip my brain. They want to chip my grandchild's brain my grandchild.
It's probably coming sooner than we think. They're doing a lot of neural interface and they're introducing it through the medical field to help people who are paralyzed.
I noticed that where the people prosthetic stuff has really advanced since the Iraq IED improvised explosive devices. I think they're called, blew off everybody's arms and legs, and now they have just these amazing prosthetics that all came out. I think of stuff that comes out of war.
Yeah, same thing with gene editing, but I don't want to go into that today because I want to get to a couple more of these clips.
Yeah.
This is the last Soros one. See if you can spot
we were having such fun.
See if you can spot the threat in it.
Let me point out that we are living in a revolutionary period. All our established institutions are in a state of flux. I lived through similar conditions in my life, most recently some 30 years ago. That's when I set up my network of foundations in the former Soviet Empire. 30 years ago, the dominant creed was international governance and cooperation. The European Union was the rising power, and the Soviet Union the declining one. Today, however, the motivating force is nationalism. Russia is resurgent, and the European Union is in danger of abandoning its values. As you will recall, the previous experience didn't turn out well for the Soviet Union. The Soviet Empire collapsed, and Russia has become a mafia state that has adopted a nationalist ideology. My foundations did quite well. The more advanced members of the Soviet Empire joined the European Union. Now our aim is to help save the European Union in order to radically reinvent it.
Holy crap. Hold
Did you
on.
hear that part where he goes,
Yes, they were successful in bringing those countries to the West.
You might remember it didn't turn out well for the Soviet Union.
What was that a threat for?
he says that he established his foundations in Russia, and he worked with the CIA to help destabilize Russia through those foundations. That's in the
Well,
CIA declassified documents. And then he makes that comment, it didn't turn out well for Soviet Union. Earlier in the speech, he talked about how he's putting all his money in his foundations in America. That was a threat to America.
Oh, yeah, I was